Our gospel message this morning comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, starting with the 21st verse. Jesus and his disciples are in a coastal city off of the Sea of Galilee named Gennesaret. It's a place where the Jewish people are, and Jesus and the disciples are about to travel from there. Hear now these words from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started to shout, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." Jesus answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." Jesus answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." And she said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed instantly. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. For as long as I can remember, my birthday has been the day after my mom's birthday, because that's the way it is. As the years roll on, our birthday celebrations become more and more subdued, save for those big celebrations of some major birthdays coming in the near future. Well, this year we had the additional challenge of the pandemic. Now, we did a few things on our own to celebrate, but we finished up by having frozen custard last Sunday on the patio of Culver's in Morden Grove, which I discovered is just off of Dempster. A very busy road. So it was a hot afternoon, so the possibility of eating indoors, it was tempting, but I took a look around inside there, and there was a Little League team that was inside, all running around, none of whom really seemed to be eating anything, very few of whom seemed to have their masks on. So, by the way, what's up with Little League teams hanging around ice cream shops without their masks on? I don't get it. Anyway, our family sat on the patio. We enjoyed some quick melting frozen custard, and we attempted to have a conversation over the din of traffic that was zooming just a few yards away. It wasn't an easy place to talk. There were lots of "what?" and "huh?" and a lot of blank stares after questions were asked. At one point, even, the grocery store that was across the way had a fire alarm go off, and there were about 5 fire trucks and 3 ambulances that showed up. Luckily, it was a false alarm. It was an absolutely perfect day. The only thing that could have made it better was a tornado. Wait, just joking. But I share this with you because there's something that's happening at the beginning of the passage that we have today. The lectionary for today includes this interaction between Jesus and the Canaanite woman. And just before this, and the lectionary puts this piece in parentheses, giving it kind of an option whether we want to use it or not, Jesus is confronted by the Pharisees and the scribes. And he offers a parable on ritual uncleanliness. It's one of those really tense conversations that we run into. After which Scripture says that Jesus left that place and he went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. The move is from a place that was predominantly Jewish to a place that was decidedly Gentile. Jesus has been teaching his disciples, and there's been a number of noisy and tense interactions with religious leaders and the crowds. And so here Jesus is moving from that wealthy coastal community of Gennesaret, located on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, north and west to Tyre and Sidon, which are much farther north, and they're also in what's modern-day Lebanon. One of the interesting facts, Tyre is one of the oldest continually inhabited cities in the world. Jesus makes this physical shift from teaching in this Jewish area to a place that's predominantly Gentile. Maybe he's looking to get away. Maybe he's looking for a quieter place in which he can talk with his disciples, a place that's away from the multiple distractions. Or maybe this physical shift coincides with a greater shift that is happening within the Gospel of Matthew. Up to this point in the Gospel, Jesus' teaching has focused mainly on the people of Israel. The parables that he has shared communicate to a Jewish audience. The scribes and the Pharisees debate him. Healings and miracles are happening mostly within the people of Israel. One exception to this is that healing that happens to the centurion's servant. But from the moment that Jesus encounters the Canaanite woman, he begins his journey towards Jerusalem, and the message of salvation for all people become more and more clear. In the Gospel of Matthew, this encounter with the Canaanite woman occurs between two feeding miracles. The feeding of the 5,000, which occurs in chapter 14, and the feeding of the 4,000 that occurs in the end of chapter 15. In each, a little bit of bread and some fish are offered, and baskets of leftovers are gathered up. 12 baskets of leftovers are given in the feeding of the 5,000, and 7 baskets of leftover bread and fish in the feeding of the 4,000. All that gathered in both of those miracles were fed, and there was more than enough for others. Now, I want to keep that thought in the back of your heads for right now. There was more than enough for others. One of the things that I find interesting about the language that's used in both of those passages is the word that is chosen for baskets. Baskets in the first account would have been a very specific Jewish term. And the word for baskets that is used in the second account is a much more generalized term. So just to show this difference, if we were talking about pizza rather than baskets, the first example would be Illuminati's deep dish Lou's Pizza. If you're in Chicago, you probably know a little bit about what that tastes like and what that is. The second example would be more like a delicious round pizza. Anybody in the world could know what a delicious round pizza was. But this was very more specific. This was more generalized, talking more towards the miracle that happens throughout the world. So we read in our passage that Jesus and his disciples enter into this district in the land of Canaan. In Canaan, it's that land that was named after Canaan, the grandson of Noah. Yeah, that guy, the guy who built the ark. So they have been here for a while. The Jews and the Canaanites had a very tenuous relationship. It would be fair to say that they just didn't get along. The animosity between the two people goes back, way back, to the beginning of the Bible. In Genesis, God, Jehovah, says to Abram, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abram went as the Lord told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he departed Haran. Abram took his wife Sarai and his brother's son Lot and all the possessions that they had gathered and the persons whom they had acquired in Haran, and they set forth to go forward to the land of Canaan. To the land of Canaan. And at that time the Canaanites were in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land."